Welcome back, everybody. Let's have a look at XRP then, shall we? So we've got to have a look at Bitcoin first, and then we're going to have a look short term and long term, actually, I suppose, for XRP. So first of all, we'll start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is within this technically within this downward trend still. So rejected all the way for the last 6 weeks, probably more than that now, and it's coming to a point now where I would say that I would gamble on this little trend line being a support line. And this being a rejection line. But currently we're being rejected from, actually specifically on Tether. It's the 10 simple on the daily, but also we're beneath all major moving averages of shorter time frames. We're still above the main ones, being the 200 exponential and simple. The Bollinger Bands are getting extremely tight. Now, if you measure this out from top to bottom, our Bollinger Band being here to here, that's a 4%, absolute zero. It's tiny. It's a 4%, from top to bottom range, right? So, I mean, for any cryptocurrency, I mean that's tiny. But for Bitcoin, what it means is this is on the daily chart. For a Bollinger Band to be that tight, pinching that tight, it means that there's going to be something happen. I mean, we've all been waiting for something to happen for quite a while now, and basically nothing's been going on. But what I'm saying now is that it really is getting to the point where something is definitely, a big move is definitely going to happen, whether that's up or down. It's a difficult one to call, but what we can say is that there's certain precursors to let us know if it's going to have continuation up or below certain levels. Okay, so because the Bollinger Band is very tight, and actually if you look, the 50 simple is right at the top of the Bollinger Band, and beneath it there's basically nothing. All right, so we've got a lot more resistance to the up than there is to the supports to the down. I still believe that the trend is going to be down. I still think that if there is going to be a big move, it will be down, but it won't be massively down to start with. It's shown relative strength around these areas, and actually at this point now, within this downtrend that we've had recently, we've actually had higher lows. So it's getting to the point now where there's going to be a big standoff, a big battle is going to take place between the bulls and the bears, and the Bears look to me like they got the upper hand ever so slightly, but it's only a matter of like 60% likely that it's going to go down. I know that that's still in their favour, but it's pretty tight. That's all I'm saying. It's very tight. So basically getting rejected from that area again, the 10 simple, which used to be, and being only last week we were above these areas. Now we're being rejected from these areas, and we're being rejected again from this little push that we've had today. If we break above the 10 simple and stay above there, so that would be areas such as 9,223. Then there's a chance that we'll come back to the top of this range where I would expect a rejection. So we're talking, if it was to happen today, we're talking about 9,290. So these are all ballpark figures because I'm using Tether here. So this chart is the Tether chart, and these figures I'm giving you aren't exact, but I would say if the price closes and remains above 9,250. There is a chance that we'll push up to this area, and if we break above this area, we got the 50, and we've also got the top of the Bollinger Band there, but resistance is high. We're also beneath an itchy cloud here as well, so that's all I'm saying is that it's not looking too good. Now we look at the MACD. The MACD, as of today, we've had this little move, and like I say, we have been bearish, and we are bearish on the MACD, but that's ever so slightly at the smallest amount bullish divergence that you get there, but it's not really. We're still beneath the 0 point, so it's still in bearish territory. Long term, if this area breaks down, then we'd probably find a bounce around about 8,600, 8,700. If that breaks down, well, then we've got these areas here and here. But again, that's for the moment that's a long way off, and I'll be making videos surely when we get that move, whether that's up or down. If we break above here and break outside of this Bollinger Band, we can come up all the way to test this area here, just below 10,000. But again, what I'm saying with Bitcoin, and I will go on to XRP, but what I'm saying with Bitcoin is that we're basically getting to the point now where it's going to make a move, and I couldn't tell you exactly which way it's going to move. But what I would say is that depending on, first of all, the Bollinger Bands on the daily, if they break, then it will give us the biggest indication of the continuation to either 10,000 or 8,600, and these are areas where I would certainly be shorting from or going long from. because either way, we'll probably be brought back into this channel area, I would imagine, unless it's an extremely violent move, and I just don't see Bitcoin having the momentum to break this area here, because this is the descending trend that we've been in for over 2 years. So it's too strong of a resistance to break, given the low volatility and the lack of funds that everyone seems to be having at the moment. Anyway, let's move on to XRP then, shall we? So XRP here, we've had a bit of a run today, ever so slightly. As far as XRP is concerned, yeah, that's about as good as it gets for the for the moment. But when I look at the chart, what I have to say is that it actually looks okay. So unlike Bitcoin, the daily chart has got it's got a MACD which is still in the bullish control zone. We haven't crossed. We are actually now diverging away from it ourselves. It's looking pretty good in that respect, but only because we've pumped from here. We are above the green 50 exponential moving average, as well as actually almost all lower time framed indicators here, the moving averages. So in all fairness, yeah, we've been rejected from this itchy cloud here, but it looks to me as if, if we can't break above here, then fine, we'll find our way back down and probably come back down to the green 50 exponential moving average, where we've been sort of dancing around these last few days. That price being around about 19.3 cent, roughly speaking. But if we break above there and we get up to the 200 exponential, where we were significantly rejected from the last time we came up to it, the obvious short really, if we come up to there, I would probably say rejected from there again. But breaking above there is I would say that would be extremely bullish for XRP, massively. I mean, unbelievably bullish for XRP. So let's have a look at this. So again, we had this descending trend here from again 2.5 years, similar to Bitcoin, that we're above, and I'm telling you, because we're above that, I would call this the accumulation zone for XRP. And the accumulation zone is an area where basically you'd want to fill your bags up for the long-term investment, really. And this can go on for over a year or more even. I'm not saying that XRP is going to go to the moon. What I'm saying is, as far as an investment is concerned, and I'm not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice, any area below 20 cent and between, I'd probably say as low as 10 cent or lower, is a worthy investment, because I would probably say that we'd be looking at a 10x from this level that we're at right now. That means that XRP is not going to get back to its all-time high, but it would do a 10x, which is pretty good. And the way that XRP likes to do those in the past, historically, is in a very short space of time, a lot like most altcoins does. You look at all these altcoins that have been doing 10x's recently. They do it in a very, very, very short space of time. 2-3 months, 10x, okay? So, I mean, Ripple XRP's got a really bad name for itself, because it's one of those long-term altcoins that everybody knows about, and probably by looking at this chart, a lot of people have lost a lot of money on, and continue to lose a lot of money on, and it's just been going down and down and down and down and down. But that's what it does, and that's what coins do after a parabolic run. Now, XRP and Bitcoin work completely differently. XRP's got intrinsic value connected to it. Bitcoin does, not XRP. XRP doesn't have that kind of thing. It doesn't have halving events. Doesn't have any kind of scarcity. There's just a lot of them around, so it's never going to do sort of enormous prices. When people talk about $100 XRP, I mean, it's just, it's kind of ridiculous to think that it would ever do that. It wouldn't do that. I mean, in order for it to do that, it would mean that the whole world would need to be buying into it, and it would have multiple $1 trillion probably market cap. I mean, it's not possible. I mean, it's possible, but it would mean that absolutely every single person in the world would know about it and have some kind of investment in it. I mean, it's not going to happen. But what could happen is a 10x from this level. So let's have a look at XRP here. When we look at it on this trading view chart, we have a look at the Fibonacci retracements, and what we see is that we've got a long way to go before we see any kind of big move. So, like I say, if we consider this to be an accumulation zone, then that's fine, but don't expect big moves from here. In order for us to get up to this area here, where we would see any kind of decent move, that's 86 cents. That's ridiculous, all right? That's a 4x from where we are right now, and that's going to be a struggle to get to that level. But I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but what I'm saying is that, you know, breaking above these fib retracements, this is where we start to make big moves. And if we've already done a 4x from this level here, the momentum is likely to continue, because people will see that, and it will happen in a very short space of time, and basically the chart will be so bullish at that point that probably people will be buying in, because they'll have seen what Ripple did in the past. It's done it 3 times in the past. It's trickled along, or I've not got access to a chart that long, but basically what it does, if it basically trickles along for a long period of time, going up and down, underperforming, all over the place, and then it will do a ridiculous move, like a 4,000%, 7,000%, 2,000% move. So what did this one do from this level here? We'll call it from here. It did a 1,364% move from that level there. Okay, and that was in a space of time which was 42 days. Okay, so about a month, just over a month it did that. Okay, the rewards are in the long game with this one. Now, what I'm saying is that, you know, I don't think we're likely to get to that level. Okay, I think it's more likely that we get to around about the $2 level, and that's where I'd be happy with. That's a 10x from where we are right now, and I'm not saying that we're not going to come down any further. I'm pretty confident that we will come down further from this level in the short term. I think what's going to happen at the moment, I think what's happening with Bitcoin, when we look at Bitcoin, we look at all the altcoins, I think what's happened now is that most of them have reached a peak, because it's governed by Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to have to take this dump. It's going to have to, in my opinion, it's going to have to come down again. It's gone up an enormous amount in a very small space of time. It was already looking toppy before this massive crash that the world suffered. All right, so we were already wanting to come down at this level. We were dragged back down. This was an amazing buy for people who bought it back up, and now people have been taking profits around this area, especially when they saw this rejection here. So, you know, if you've not taken profits on this, and you know, people are now coming to the realization that it is likely to come down again. Let's take profits. Let's maybe buy it back, and I think that's what's going to happen. When you talk about the 4-year cycle that the Bitcoin goes through, cycles break. You know, cycles aren't everything. You know, nothing you look at on any chart for anything is in the bag. It gives you a bit of an advantage to look at market cycles and other indicators and all kinds of trading tools, but nothing is ever in the bag. But what I can say is that at the moment, as far as Bitcoin's concerned, that 4-year cycle is a little bit weird. When you consider that the 4-year cycle meant that this area here was meant to be the beginning of a new bull market, that new bull market we've not broken out of a consolidation from our top, so we could still be in the 4-year cycle. This could be considered for Bitcoin almost as an accumulation phase still, but unlike XRP, we haven't broken out of this area. With XRP, we did break out of that area, and it was a little bit underwhelming to look at it. To be honest, I mean, the first time we did it, it was looking quite good, but then the whole situation happened. You know, the outbreak. You know, the pandemic happened, and then this happened. So then what happened is we broke out of it again, and it was looking quite good, rejected from the 200 exponential, where we were rejected from again just recently. It was only when we get above this 200 exponential and it turns to support will we start to see some significant moves on it. But unlike all the other altcoins and unlike Bitcoin, I don't believe it's going to be growing at a steady speed with the market. But breaking above here and staying above here is going to be a relatively bullish indication. We're not ready for that. Accumulation doesn't mean that this is the bottom. What it means is that it's relative to the bottom, and we could go down another 50% from here. There's nothing to say that wouldn't happen. I think it's unlikely that we did, but we could go down another 75% from here. I think it's unlikely, but it could happen. All right, we could see an XRP at like 5%. We could. There's nothing to say that won't happen, and it would still, so long as we're above this line here, be accumulation. Now I'll just extend this now to give us a rough idea of where that price would be if we were to come down all the way down from today. So we're talking about 11.3 cents. So that's an enormous dip, if you can call it a dip. That's a massive dip. But still being above this line would be accumulation to me, and it would all be areas that I'd be willing to buy it at, because I think that we're likely to hit a $2 XRP in the next 18 months or so, roughly, depending on how Bitcoin performs and the rest of the world performs. At the moment, I do feel as though everything's getting a little toppy. This V-shaped recovery that we've had on traditional markets it's good, it's worked, and it might level out for a bit and be a bit slow, and that slowness will then allow for, I suppose, in a way, the decoupling of things like Bitcoin to those traditional markets. And the decoupling, unfortunately, the way I'm looking at it now is that when you look at traditional markets, they just continue to go up. Bitcoin's failed to do that. Bitcoin's not continued to go up recently, as the S&P and the Nasdaq and all these other, the Dow Jones and everything is continuing to go up. It's leveling out at the moment, but generally it's been going up. When we look at Bitcoin, it's not. It's actually started to get ready to go down. So if those traditional markets level off and start to go sideways or a little bit down, it's going to allow the decoupling to take place, which in my mind, the decoupling is going to be negative for Bitcoin, bringing it down, and that's going to bring it down all the coins, XRP included. But like I say, we're in that accumulation zone, and that's why I'm seeing it. I'm happy to trade little trades here and there to accumulate more through Bybit, leverage trading, but I'm not willing to lose any of my XRP. So I'm being very, very careful at how I do it. If you leverage trade, that's how I would see this. I would see it as an opportunity just to get a little bit more here and there. When you consider that the token XRP specifically that you're trading could essentially be worth 10 times more than it is worth right now, it's not really worth losing any of that. I don't know if you margin trade, but if you do, I've got affiliate links you can click on, you get perks for doing it. But generally speaking, I would be thinking it's not worth losing it. Every XRP to me could be worth $2 or even more. So I'm only going to be making trades on this where I feel that there's a decent win, and I'm not going to be greedy either. Because like I say, every XRP that I potentially lose is $2. So that is basically the be-all and end-all of it, really. We'll just have a quick look at the fibs again, and like I say, breaking above here shouldn't take it too much longer to get to these levels, starting to take these out. But again, making it all the way back to the top of where we came from, I find quite unlikely, even at the end of the cycle. But I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I find it quite unlikely. We would really need to start to see some of these areas, especially 86 cent, get taken out and supported on. And considering we haven't done that at any point last year, it tells me that it's going to take a while for us to get there. And I don't think it's going to be a long sort of constructive way up, but at the moment the proof will be in the pudding. Like I say, we've got the upper hand with Bitcoin, with XRP. We're out of our descending trend, our 2-year consolidation trend. We are out of that. Bitcoin's not out of that. Only when Bitcoin breaks out of that will the market really start to take off, and these underperformers like XRP, I think, will at that point start to make some decent moves. Anyway, that's how I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Like I say, use my affiliate links if you don't have access to Bybit and all these other things. Otherwise, I just hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.